Oh, I was saying that I hope to be an actuary in the future or potentially a financial planner because I personally feel that like there's not enough education around planning your personal finances like in high school unless it was for an elective course. We weren't taught about budgeting and keeping track of our money. You know, we're kind of just handed these, you know, credit cards. You can just quickly apply to get a credit card or a new debit card and just, you know, swipe
Right.
and continue.
So do you consider yourself to be financially literate? Would you consider yourself to be savvy when it comes to making financial decisions?
I would say so, yes.
And what brought you to that stage? Could you say you didn't have that opportunity in high school? Was it something you did on your own, or did you take a special course or a workshop?
I think it was my parents, but especially my dad. So he basically he grew up with money, and so like his parents had taught him about money and things, and same with my parents. My parents, both of them would always teach me about budgeting, and they would teach me about like the stock market, things like that, and help me make the right financial choices when it came to like school and work and things like that, and what to prioritize. And so I think that was very helpful.
So your parents are the main influencers for you when it comes to making financial decisions?
I would say so, yes. Also, financial books. I wanted to, get other perspectives too, and so I have read some different financial books and seen why a lot of those.
What do you use more, cash, credit, or debit?
Mostly debit cards.
Okay.
I would say.
And why? Why do you prefer using debit cards?
Well, because with debit cards, like every time you're spending money, you always have that money. With cash, it's the same way, but cash, if it gets lost, like you can't really get it back. Whereas if you lose your debit card, you just call them and the bank and say, "Can you please cancel my card? I've lost it," so that no one else can steal the money. With credit cards, I have one credit card, and I use it specifically mostly for purchases where you can only use a credit card, because certain websites, like our school websites, when you're applying to residence for your deposit, they only let you use credit cards, and so I actually got a credit card mostly for things like that. Once in a while, I'll use a credit card for other purchases if I've forgotten my debit card, but then that same day when I get home, I'll be like, okay, well, I'm going to transfer that money from debit card to the credit card, because I always want to have a zero balance on that, because the interest rates are really high if I ever forget to pay it. So
right. So you have I'm sensing a fear of using credit cards.
Not so much a fear of using them, but a fear of like using them too much and then using them
on it.
Exactly. I guess I have a fear of spending money I don't have, and then because then the interest piles up, and then there's interest on the interest, and and so on and so forth.
But that doesn't happen if you pay it off on time.
Yep.
So, but the reason I'm asking is that there are some benefits of using a credit card, because you can get points and rewards depending on which one. For example, the one that I use, I get a lot of free groceries from it. So it's kind of cool when you go to the cashier and your bill is like maybe $80-$90, and then you end up paying $12 or $6. It's like, yeah, it's it's a good feeling.
That's true.
Yeah. So, and the thing is, if you pay your credit card off on time, it's a benefit to you. But then, like you said, you have this fear that so what you're afraid of is more of your self-monitoring or the temptation of using the card. Because if you strategize well, you can use a credit card to your advantage, but you do have to have self-control, and you have to be able to monitor yourself. And do you feel that you're capable of doing that?
At this point, not yet, but I hope in the future. Like, I know my dad, what he will do is he'll use a credit card for like all his like everyday purchases and things like that, and then he'll just always make sure to pay it on time with money from the investments.
Right.
From like dividends and things like that.
Yeah.
And then that way he'll never have to pay any interest, which isn't worth it. But if he knows for sure that that's money that he's going to have or something like that, then it's okay, because you're never going to not have enough.
I think the credit card companies, that's what they prey on, in the sense that they give you good rewards, and if you're not able to self-monitor properly, that's where you get lost, and then you run up a bill that you can't pay off on time, and that's when they make their money. But if you are able to self-control and monitor your spending, then you're able to use it to your advantage. So I always like to use the analogy of a knife. It's like having a knife. You can use it to, cut your fruit and cut vegetables to make food and to nourish yourself, or you can take it and stab something, right? You can use that knife as a weapon or as a tool. And I think the same thing with credit cards. If you know how to use it, it can be nourishing to you. And if you don't, well, it can be seriously dangerous. So,
not sometimes if like the sales clerk's pushing it on you. Like I get that it might be hard for some people to say no, but what I usually think of is like, okay, well, it's my money, so I worked hard to earn it, and so I can say no. And when it's their money, I don't get to tell them how to spend their money.
And you can't tell me how to spend my money.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm like, wait, how do I know that I'm right? Well, it's my money, and that's how I know that I'm right.
Right.
Or just same with really any item I own. How do I know that I'm right for not letting someone borrow it? Well, it's mine. So that's how I know I'm right.
Right.
Told me this who I don't agree with her on everything, but this is something that stuck with me, and that I'm like, I definitely agree with that. And she said that you can't be happy without money, but you can't be happy with only money. And like, that's perfect. I agree.
That's a really good statement. Yeah.
It's like if you don't have any money, then it's going to be very hard to live, and you'll constantly fear for your life being outside and everything with all the weather conditions and everything.
Yeah.
And that would be tough. But it would also, if you had a ton of money, but hated what you did for 40 to 50 hours every week, it wouldn't be so good. Every time you went to work, it was like, okay, well, when's the next time I'm going to get to go back home and do the things I want to do,
right.
Things like that. Or one idea I had for, right now, I'm not sure if I want kids in the future or not, but
okay.
I might, we'll see. But one idea I had for kids is there's certain things that I would want to spend time with the kids doing. Like, I wouldn't want to miss out on playing games with them and toys with them and eating food with them and like things like that. And
right.
Driving them to school. However, I don't care if I never get to do their laundry or never get to clean the house or things like that. And so what I'm thinking is, having there's some university students that will even do that sort of job. They will, go in, and it would have to be a university student.
So you have a domestic assistant.
Exactly.
While you're a mom, so you can do the fun mom things with your kids to bond, and let some other person do the things you don't really like doing so much.
Exactly. Yeah. Because let's say I even pay like a fairly good wage. Like say, okay, well, for this university student, they're going to get between $20 to $22 an hour for the work they're doing here, which many university students would probably like. And but then that would still be, even with taxes and everything, that would still probably be less money than I would be making for doing those hours. And I'd enjoy doing a different job more than I would enjoy cleaning the house and doing the laundry and preparing meals and things like that.
Yes.
And then I still get to do all the fun things. Because of course I wouldn't want to miss out on their lives, but I'm okay with missing out on the chores.
Yeah. That's a good plan. That's very good plan. It's kind of like my plan.
Oh.